Hello, Pisces rising, and welcome to your September Astrology and Tarot Horoscope. If you're new here, I am so glad you're here. My name is Lisa Merrifield. I'm with Trails Edge Astrology, and on this channel, I give grounded, practical astrological advice so you can live your best life. If you have not listened to the September forecast yet, I recommend you go back and do that first. I give the 6 transits that I think are most interesting for the month of September, and I also made a journal page with the dates and the transit on it so that you can make some notes as to how this energy might show up. And then I think it's also interesting to make notes on how it actually does show up for you, because astrology is cyclical. It's interesting to keep track of what kinds of things have come up and how you felt about certain kinds of energy as that energy progresses and as we experience it again. So if you want those, I'll put a link here so that you can listen to that video. And if you want the journal pages, I'll put a link in the show notes below so that you can hop over to my website and get those. All right. Before we get started, if any of this resonates with you, please like and subscribe so that I know you're out there and interested. I also love the comments. I love to hear what's happening in your life and in your from your perspective, how this stuff is showing up. And it also helps other people find me, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, so the first transit I want to talk about that has some really broad, long-lasting implications is Pluto moving back into Capricorn. So Pluto first moved into Capricorn in 2008 and was solidly in Capricorn between 2009 and the beginning of 2023. And during that time, it transited your 11th house. And your 11th house is the house of friends and communities and groups. It is also sometimes the house called the house of good fortune or hopes and wishes or benefactors. So over that 14, 15-year period while Pluto was in Capricorn, you probably had some transformation around those areas of your life. And what kind of transformation it was is very likely dependent on what other planets you have in your 11th house, in Capricorn, and honestly, any planets in Aries, Libra, or Cancer, that also would add some energy to that mix. So, how it showed up for you is very, very individual, but probably there has been some reformation of those friends groups, community groups, how you show up in those public spaces, how you bring your creative talents to be part of that group. There's probably been some change in that time period, and again, depending on what else you've got there or in any of the other cardinal houses, will kind of shape how that has shown up for you. Now, Pluto is going to be in Capricorn. So it's been in Aquarius since January of this year, January of 24 to now. Pluto has been in Aquarius. So you have been getting a taste of what Pluto in Aquarius is going to look like. And for you, Pluto in Aquarius is in the 12th house, which can be about health and spirituality, the subconscious, unwinding and undoing the silos and the things that keep us stuck. So that's where Pluto's going. But between September 1st and September 19th, Pluto is going to move back into Capricorn and finish up that 11th house work, whatever that is, whatever you need to complete, whatever your soul's evolution is looking to complete in this lifetime. You have that period between September 1st and November 19th to complete whatever that is. And I don't think it'll be anything new. It might show up as some old patterns that you have released, just kind of as a reminder that you're finishing this out, or if you've been ignoring something, if you have been like, oh, I need to work on that and not working on it, this might be a time where it resurfaces and it's like, okay, one more time, let's get this wrapped up, let's move on, let's do this shadow work, and so we can step into the next chapter, so we can step into that Pluto in Aquarius, because starting on November 19th, Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for the next almost 20 years. So we have a long run with Pluto in your 12th house. So So that's the first transit I wanted to bring up and have you think about, and how that resonates. What has really come up for you, and what you think you might be working on during this last period. One of the things about Pluto is Pluto really values us leaning in and really hearing and listening, surrendering, all those Plutonian kinds of things, like really sitting in that heart space, listening to the longings of your heart, really being authentic. And so I think that there's a real opportunity to co-create on this one, and really have some soul's evolution in this process. The second transit I want to talk about is the eclipse on September 17th, and it is in Pisces and Virgo. So the moon is in Pisces and the sun will be in Virgo. And so this, as a Pisces rising, is in your first and seventh house. So it's really, really prominent in your chart, particularly if your ascendant is around 25 degrees of Pisces. So, yeah, so anything, or if you have any planets around 25 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, um, this is likely to show up in a really strong way. But because it's your rising sign, because it's your ascendant, I think regardless, this eclipse will have the potential to really illuminate something for you. And being in your first and seventh house, it's really going to be something about the balance between who you are, how you stand in your autonomy, and who you are in relationships, how that fits together. And the relationships can be a romantic partnership. It can be kind of a best friend relationship. It can be a business relationship. Any of those kind of committed, equal relationships are up for some illumination, some enlightenment. Anna Ortley describes eclipses as like a strobe light. The light goes off, or people in a position, the light goes off, the light comes back on, and everybody's moved. Things have shifted. They're real, they're karmic points where the universe does some course correcting for us. So the eclipses are certainly harbingers of change, and change is good, but change can be hard. So sometimes eclipses do bring surprises. Now, eclipses play out over a long period of time. So I can't tell you that on the 17th, something will change, but the seeding of something changing is likely to manifest at that time. Interestingly, the eclipses for the last couple of years have been in the Aries and Libra house. So for the last couple of years, they have been in your money houses. Money and values, sense of self-worth, that kind of thing, how you're vulnerably and intertwined with other people. They've been in that space. And now they're moving into your identity and in relationships. So that'll be interesting. The October eclipse will move back into your money houses. So this is just a little blip, a little teaser as to what eclipses in your first and seventh house will look like. So worth note, and I'm curious to see how they show up. So if any of this is resonating for you, again, would you give me a like or a subscribe or a comment so that I know you're out there and interested and this is worthwhile? And with that, I'm going to pull some cards. We're going to pull from the Crow Tarot, and then we'll pull an Oracle card from a Wild Mystic. All right, I'm going to pause, shuffle, and I'll be right back. All right, Pisces rising, I am back. So the card you got for your opportunity this month is the Page of Wands. And pages are all about learning or about information. So there is some opportunity perhaps to learn something new or get some new information. And this is good information. The Page of Wands is a nice card. So something good coming in, either that you're learning something new, you're learning something you're passionate about, and sparks your creative fires, or there's some information coming in that will help you learn new things, move forward into that passionate creative space. So exciting. So Page of Wands, something new coming, some information coming. Maybe you're back in school, maybe you're studying for something, but so good news coming about those kinds of things. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm curious what new adventures you're off on. I guess the Page of Wands can also represent um, somebody young in your life. So, so youthful, vibrant energy, but it might just be you. You're just feeling like this spark of like youthful, vibrant energy. So let's hope that's the case. All right. Um, your challenge this month is the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is all about decisions and choices. And as a Pisces rising, Pisces is a mutable sign. Pisces is very emotionally connected to everyone around them, and so Pisces is not always the most decisive of signs. So I'm not saying that's you, but in general, people with Pisces rising sometimes struggle with making choices. And making decisions. And so there's something about you needing to make a choice this month that that is being invited into this discussion. So, with the eclipses in your first and seventh house, perhaps it's something about relationships, or perhaps there's something that you want to do as an individual, and you've got to make a choice that involves, how you interact with other people. It could be friends, friends and groups with the 11th house energy, or it could be something about relationships, but something about a choice. That new information is coming in, new learning, new opportunities, and you got to make a choice about it, and that's going to be difficult for all the reasons that making choices are difficult. Your to-do list is Judgment. And Judgment is kind of a tough card. So it's the card right before the world. So it's the card right before the end. And so when I see Judgment, what I think is you are almost at the end of a chapter, and you need to make the last call. You need to make the final decision. Are we going or are we not? What do we need to change in order to end this thing so that we can start the next thing? Because of course all endings are actually beginnings. And so Judgment is that energy of like, what do I need to change? This is the last call. Where am I going from here? What do I need to adjust? And you know what? You may find there's nothing you need to adjust. That's okay too. But I'm suspecting with these cards, like there's a decision that you're making, and Judgment is saying, be bold, make the choice, do the thing. This is interesting. This is the symbol for Pluto, and of course Pluto back in Capricorn in your fifth house or in your 11th house. Something about making choices in groups, perhaps making choices in community, how you show up in that as part of the group. What does that look like? And are there tweaks you need to make so that you are achieving the goals you want to achieve? All right, and your Wild Mystic card is Collaborate, which is so interesting for the um, 11th house, for Pluto in the 11th house. So this is an ant. So it's all about how ants are in colonies. Everybody has their role. There's some hierarchy, but largely not in the way human beings think of hierarchy. It's like everybody's got their job to do. And so there's some messaging about what's your job to do, what's your piece of this, what decision do you need to make to get where you need to go. So I hope that's helpful and interesting. I think it's helpful and interesting. I would love to know how it shows up for you. I would love to know if this is interesting and insightful for you. And I hope to see you back soon, Pisces rising. Bye.